Hey, what's going on, guys? You got the Lone Ranger here, and it is time for the PDL finals. The final battle of this draft league that I've been participating in, the Puckle Draft League. We're going to be playing, definitely not Thatch, and the Cleveland Jynx. And we're just hopping right to the battle now. I'll do a quick recap, I guess, of what Pokemon we're bringing. But if you want to know the in-depth sets and spreads, you can check out the team builder video that should have gone up yesterday. So we will be bringing Zapdos, Gyarados, Nidoking, Tangela, Cryogonal, and Clefable. And so a nice bulky offense team. We've got our offensive Pokemon and we've got our defensive pivots as well. Hopefully everyone can hold it together and hopefully we can, cop a W in this finals and, be able to pull this one off. So, yep, this is the team we want. And so we are going to lock in and let the battle begin. And before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching all these battles as they have gone, and supporting me throughout these tournaments. It really does mean a lot to me. So my opponent has brought Suicune, Yanmega, Porygon 2, Aerodactyl, Mach, and Mamoswine. So the best news here is that he doesn't have Hitmonlee. Now that doesn't mean he doesn't have Hazard Control, because he could have Defog on Aerodactyl or even Yanmega. I'm pretty sure Yanmega gets Defog. But that means he doesn't have anything that can one-hit KO my Mega Salamence. Not Mega Salamence. I wish it was a Mega Salamence. No, it's a Mega Gyarados. He can't knock it out in one shot. So I do think he's going to lead with the Mamoswine. I really want to lead with my Nidoking because I outspeed the Mamoswine and I can hit him with a superpower, but also if he doesn't lead Mamoswine and he decides to lead like Aerodactyl or Muk, which would be bad if I led Cryogonal, I can not be immediately threatened by those as well. And of course, if he does lead something like Suicune, then I can always pivot out into Cryogonal or Tangela. So, yep, we're going to lead Nidoking and we are going to lock in. So here we go. The battle begins for the PDL finals. I hope we can give you a battle to remember. Alright, he's going to lead off with Hexog, which is going to be the Suicune. Okay, so he does lead off with Suicune, which is a bit of a problem for my Nidoking. I could easily see a substitute coming off right here. But I think it's okay if I just go into Cryogonal. Cryogonal will eat up pretty much any hit that the Suicune wants to go for, and if it does sub, I could break the sub with a Freeze Dry, outspeed the next turn, and poison it with a Toxic. So and if he does, decide to just go for the Scald, that is okay, because again, that won't do very much. If he burns me, that's also okay, as long as we have the leftovers, we will basically be taking no damage. And since we are going to be only using special attacks for damage, I mean, we do have Rapid Spin, but that was never going to do any damage anyway, so. I do expect the Muk to come in here, because it would be pretty bad for him if... Yeah, it'd be pretty bad for him if I got this thing poisoned. I'm still going to Freeze Dry. If he does go Muk, I could still switch out. I just want to make sure. He goes into Silver Paste, which is going to be the Muk. Yes, okay. And we freeze him, so that's actually really unfortunate. Unless he thaws out this next turn. Definitely not what I was attempting to go for. But I knew that if he did go for the Pursuit the next turn, I would live that. Unless he's Choice Banded, that might be able to kill him. But we do have a good amount of bulk on this. But this actually, if he stays frozen, gives me a free switch him back to the Nidoking. So that's really, really unfortunate for him. Definitely not something I can feel good about. But I mean, I was pretty much going to switch into Nidoking this next turn either way. It's just that this makes it a lot easier to get it in safely. So yeah, unfortunately due to that, it's going to really force him to play a lot smarter now, because he essentially might not have a muck for the rest of the game due to that RNG. I can never feel good about getting RNG because it really doesn't display any skill. Obviously my play was relatively safe, but I basically just got rewarded for making a play that he could have easily, that I could have made a different play to capitalize on this if I wanted to predict it, but instead I made a play that was just like, oh, this play is safe, and there's that 10% freeze chance. Like, it's not fun, man. Feels real bad, man. Alright, and we are going to switch out. He is not going to click Pursuit, so we do not know yet if he is going to thaw or not. Probably going for the knockoff. Nope, he actually withdraws himself into Cries Duck, which is going to be the Porygon 2, and it is Trace. Okay, so it's going to Trace Sheer Force, which means Ice Beam will actually be doing a bit more. I could technically go into my I want to knock this thing off, but I do not want to switch my Clefable into a Sheer Force boosted Ice Beam if that's what he decides to go for, which I do think he'll go for. He could go for something else like a Trick Room or something like that, but I think Ice Beam is his safest play. So, yep, he does go for the Ice Beam. And here I am going to recover, because I think he's going to go right back into his muck. And the damage from Freeze Dry, as we saw, was pretty negligible. So I assume it's Assault Vest, and therefore there's no real need to get any extra chip on it, since it's already within a range where I can knock it out with the likes of Earthquake from Nidoking or a boosted Waterfall from my Gyarados. So he is going to stay in, which is fine. Since I recovered there, he might not expect Toxic at this point. He's going to go for the Thunderbolt, okay, which is going to do a little bit more since it is neutral, but since Cryogonal just has that extremely high special defense stat, even with the Sheer Force boost, it's not going to be doing very much. I'm actually okay with revealing Toxic, even if he does want to switch back into his Muck right here. It's still okay, because again, the damage from Freeze Dry wouldn't have been doing too much, and if he decided to stay in, I could poison the Porygon 2, which would be really good for Pokemon like Nidoking in the back who need damage on it before they can knock it out. So again, I'm just going to switch in my Nidoking. If we can get Nidoking in on this safely, we can just launch off an Earthquake. He thaws out, so he doesn't actually suffer any turns of freeze, which is good for him. I could Earthquake here. He can go into like Yanmega or Aerodactyl. I could also set up a Toxic Spike. So I've got a couple plays here. I could Earthquake, predicting him to stay in, but I feel like there's no way he does that. Except for the fact that he doesn't know I'm physical. He sees a Life Orb, so he might think I'm special. So I'm actually going to go for the Earthquake, because, okay, since he was Assault Vest, I thought he might stay in. He goes into Cries Duck, which is probably the Porygon 2. Yep. That is the Porygon 2. He's going to retrace that Sheer Force. And And this is going to do not very much, but a decent chunk. I could go right back into my cryogonal here. I think I will. It's just so safe. There's really nothing. There's no downside to making this play, even if he wants to double. He goes for the Thunderbolt, so he does predict the switch, but again, it just does do very much damage. And now since he knows I have Toxic, he's almost certainly going to switch right back out into the... Oh, shoot, I just clicked Rapid Spin. It started with an R and it was a normal type move. I thought I said recover. Either way, I mean, it's not too big of a deal. I can recover next turn. But yeah, he's probably going to go right back into his Muck, since he knows I have Toxic and he probably doesn't want this thing Toxiced. And he knows that Freeze Dry, if I do decide to go for it, doesn't do very much damage. He might be scared of getting frozen again, but it's just not something like you can't really play around the freeze. So yep, he goes into that. And obviously I'm going to Rapid Spin here. Not going to do very much damage, but that's okay. Hey, you know what? Chip is chip. I actually think he's going to Pursuit here, as opposed to Knock Off. The question is, do I need Cryogonal anymore? I really do think he's going to Pursuit here. I'm going to recover the first turn. I mean, I will eat up any hit, although if he goes for Knockoff or Poison Jab, it'll do a good chunk. And he actually goes for the Poison Fang. Okay. Well, that's not going to do as much. This will allow me to actually switch into the Mammoth Swine still, if he's not, if he doesn't go for a Pursuit here. And since we do have the rest on our Mega Gyarados, I'm actually going to go right into that. I half expect him to actually go for the knockoff here, because I could just switch right back into my Nidoking on the Poison Fang. So we are going to intimidate him, so that will make it so his attacks don't do very much. Yep, he does go for the knockoff. And no poison touch, so that's good. And here, he doesn't threaten very much damage, so I just assume he's going to... I assume he's going to switch out. I think I'm actually just going to go for the Hard Water Ball. I expect the Porygon 2 to come in here. Nope, he actually goes into the Suicune. Okay. That's fine. I can set up on this thing, although I don't know how good of an idea that would be, because the Porygon 2 still has the Eviolite. I really think I should knock that thing's Eviolite off before I attempt to set up. This thing could also have Roar, but we get damage off on it. It probably is leftovers. Yep. He could also have Toxic, but since I do have Rest, I'm not too scared of that. The question is, if I get to +2, does he have anything to revenge kill me? His only things that could revenge kill me would be things that tank a hit, which would be like the Porygon 2. So I'm going to actually Dragon Dance here. And he's going to go for the Toxic. That is fine. going to proc the leftovers, heal back up to full, but like the health on this thing isn't important as it doesn't threaten any damage, any immediate damage on me. So the worst thing it could do is roar me out right here. But he might not. Okay, so he does have the roar. I'm thinking he doesn't think I have. I'm thinking that he doesn't think I have. Hold on, what is it? Rest. I'm thinking he thinks I'm crunch, which would be ideal. I really want to go out into. Yeah, I'm going to go out into Tangle because I expect him to Scald here. I don't expect him to try to make any prediction because I could easily just go back out into Cryogonal. And I don't think he wants to stay in to poison this thing because of the possibility that I could Leech Seed him or Giga Drain him and get big damage off. This is going to be his initial answer to my Gyarados. So I'm actually just going to hard knock off and hopefully catch the Muck on the switch in. And getting rid of that thing's Assault Vest will make it a lot easier to wear down. And if this thing decides to stay in, knocking off his leftovers is very helpful as well, as that's pretty much his only form of recovery. He burns me as well, which is actually better for me because now he can't Toxic me. He goes into Cry's Duck, so he actually goes into his Porygon 2. He's going to get my Regenerator so he can actually heal off with that, but I'm going to be able to get rid of that thing's Eviolite so not take hits as well, which is really good for me because that's going to help Gyarados sweep. I'm actually going to Leech Seed right here as I know I take an Ice Beam. I am max Spit Def, and this will allow us to chip it as well as this will help us get chip as well as heal up a little bit as well. Goes for the Ice Beam. Obviously that won't do too much. Yeah, it does a good chunk. He might be max special. Oh, it's a crit. Okay, okay. And we do connect, so that is really good. So this Leech Seed recovery alongside the Regenerator will put us back at a relatively healthy amount. And since he does not have the Sheer Force boost anymore, I'm actually going to go into my Clefable and hopefully get my rocks up right now. Because now it does not threaten as much damage. So I feel a lot safer switching in a Pokemon that's more physically defensive into this thing. Because of course Clefable has a pretty decent Spidaf even with little investment. We have about 68 points, or yeah, 68 points of special defense investment and max HP, so it can still take special hits pretty decently. He's actually going to withdraw himself back into the Suicune, so that's really good. This thing again doesn't threaten too much damage unless it's Calm Mind, although then it would be Calm Mind, Scald, Roar, or Toxic, which is a set that I don't know if it would be actually running. And I'm going to take this opportunity to get my Stealth Rocks up. He goes for the Toxic, which is fine because again I am Magic Guard on this, so I won't actually be taking any damage, so this means that no chances to get paralyzed or have my knockoff weakened by the burn or anything like that. So here we are going to go for the knockoff again, hoping he stays in, although there's a good chance he does switch out, probably into the Muck. Yep, and we can get rid of this thing's Assault Vest, which is also super duper helpful. So now we can Moonblast it with our Clefable as it switches in and stuff like that, and do good damage. Here we are going to switch right back into our Gyarados, because this thing will pretty much, due to the fact that we have so much bulk on it, even if he decides to go for a Poison Jab, although he did show Poison Fang, if he decides to go for if he does have the Poison Jab or the Gunk Shot and he goes for it here, it won't do too much and we can just rest off next turn. He decides to go for the knockoff, that is fine. about whether I want to rest now or later. Because I'm thinking he goes right back into Suicune right here. And therefore, it's probably going to... Like if I Dragon Dance, it's just going to roar me. So yeah, I'm going to rest. Yep, he's going to withdraw. I mean, as he switches around, he will be taking the Stealth Rock damage, so he doesn't have unlimited switches. So I guess you could say I'm in the lead here because I have the Stealth Rocks up and I have the switch initiative. But I'm going to get the rest off now that he knows I'm rest. He doesn't have any freedom to not go for Roar here, because if I start setting up, it's just going to be game over. Porygon 2 no longer has its Eviolite. Those are really, this and the Porygon 2 were only really the things that could take Waterfall. So I think he's just going to go for the Roar here. I am going to Sleep Talk because if I can pull the Waterfall, I'd like to get that damage off. That would be really nice. And if we pull Dragon Dance, it's not the end of the world if we pull Dragon Dance. If we pull Rest, it's Rest. If we pull Dragon Dance and he actually doesn't go for the Roar, that's also pretty good. But I can't see him not going for Roar when he just saw Rest. I'm thinking his last move might be Ice Beam. That would allow him to hit my Tangela for super effective damage if that's what he wanted to go for. And we pull the Dragon Dance, so no damage. We don't get any damage off, but that's okay. Especially if he doesn't go for the Roar, but he does. His best play, so it's no surprise he went for it. And we actually get in our Cryogonal, so that was probably the best thing we could get in. Especially because since, again, he no longer has the Assault Vest on that Muck, we're pretty much free to go for the Freeze Dry right here. Don't you love it when Cryogonal does work? Because I do. This Pokemon has a great design. I just wanted to say that. It's just a snowflake, but it walls Suicune. And it walls Mamoswine, so, you know, why not bring it to this finals game? So yeah, Freeze Dry, it'll do like 35 to 40% depending on how much bulk his Suicune has, which I assume it to be more physically defensive because of my Gyarados. But since he's most certainly going to switch out, I guess we're not even going to see the damage. He does go into his Muck, which is going to take the Freeze Dry with no Assault Vest, and it's going to take the Stealth Rock damage. And we don't freeze him this time, so that's good. Have you ever just hoped that you don't Hex your opponent so you can have a nice, good, clean finals game? Because that's how I like my finals games. So we're going to withdraw. He doesn't go for the Pursuit. He's shown Knockoff and Poison Fang. So he might not have Pursuit, but I think he does. Especially because I have the Gengar. He switches out into his Porygon 2, which is going to trace my Mold Breaker, which isn't going to help him too much. Probably going to go for the Thunderbolt here. Yeah, I really don't have any reason to not go into Cryogonal because it just walls this thing. And Thunderbolt, yeah, does come out. It's not going to do too much. No sheer force boost this time, so yeah, it does even less than last time. Who said ice types can't be defensive? Alright, and I do expect the I do expect to switch into either the Muck or even the Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl, because he might think I'm not going to go for the Freeze Dry. So Gragon and this is Aerodactyl. Yep. So yeah, I was thinking if I do that because I wouldn't go for the Freeze Dry right there, which is a fine play because this is the most immediate threat to my Cryogonal. And if he has Iron Head, he's surely going for it here. But he might go for Stone Edge. I'm looking, and since he still has the Muck, I don't really need the Nidoking for anything. I don't need the Nido... I don't need... Yeah, right, okay. What I'm trying to say is I don't need the Nidoking to kill anything, and Nidoking isn't a defensive switch into anything either, so I'm okay with sacking it if he does go for the Iron Head right here. If he does go for the Stone Edge, I'll actually live it, but it won't matter because he'll just go for an attack next turn and knock me out. He could go for the Stealth Rocks, which would be a really fantastic play, but I can Rapid Spin those away on his I can Rapid Spin those away on his Suicune or his Porygon 2 as well. So due to the fact that he is I don't want to reveal Scarf Zapdos yet. So I'm going to go into my I'm going to go into this here. Yep, we do eat that up pretty well. Hopefully no flinch, although it won't really matter if we don't pull Waterfall here. So we do get the Sleep Talk off, and we do pull the Waterfall. So pretty lucky right there. It was only a 33% chance, but we are able to get that off and just knock out the Aerodactyl. So I think that's the... No. Okay. I was going to say that's the first knockout for the match, but he did knock out my Nidoking. So that's the first knockout on my part. So we're both 5-5 now. The score is even. And he is probably going to go right back into his Suicune. Actually, he goes into the Porygon too. Alright. Well, I'm not going to stay in here. I can recover this thing on the Muck or the... I can rest this thing up on the Muck or the... Suicune. Sorry. I'm getting so distracted. I was thinking of what I wanted to do, and I'm just gonna go right back into my specially defensive wall, my specially defensive pivot, as I threaten him with a Toxic, and if he continues to try to switch around and double, we do have the Stealth Rocks to punish him for that. So he does decide to double, probably right back into his Muck. Yep. So again, continuing to make smart plays, but with the Stealth Rocks, it just is, it keeps adding up. I am going to save this thing, as even if he does Pursuit right here, if he does reveal that he has the Pursuit, and he goes for it, we still will be healthy enough to switch into the Mamoswine, which is what we want from this thing. And I definitely want health on my... okay, so he doesn't Pursuit. And I want health on my Gyarados, because that is going to be my win con. And he's going to actually double as well into Magnus, so this is probably the Mamoswine. Yep. So we are probably within range of Earthquake, and I doubt we outspeed at this point. But again, this is why we kept our Cryogonal healthy. Go right into it right here. He could go for the Superpower if he does have it. He could also go for the Stealth Rocks if he has that. He does go for the Stealth Rocks. So we can actually Rapid Spin these away right now. And since the Mamoswine doesn't really threaten any damage, aside from Superpower, yeah, I'm going to make that play. I could also poison him, but I don't think I want to do that, because if he keeps his Stealth Rocks up, then I am now unable to switch around, and that is not something that I am too fond of. So he could also switch out if he doesn't have Superpower. He can't really stay in here. Well, I guess you could, but you don't really threaten much damage. He could also go for the knockoff if he has that. Nope, goes for the Icicle Spear. So depending on how many hits he gets to will basically determine how much damage he does. But it still won't do too much damage either way. So, and of course he does get the 5 hits. So A little bit of luck on his part, but it doesn't really matter because I can just recover this time. And he also reveals not life orb, so that's also pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to recover in order to keep this thing healthy, to continue checking this Mammoth Swine. And the fact that it's not life orb is really, really good, because that means that as long as it doesn't have superpower, I don't think it knocks out my Gyarados from the range it's at, so I might be able to rest up on this thing as well. Although that would be pretty risky. Maybe not something that I want to do. He could also just go right for his Stealth Rocks again, try to get those back up, but if he does, I'm just going to Rapid Spin them away again. Stealth Rocks is not something I think I can afford to have on my side of the field, so I'm going to make sure they stay off at all costs. He's thinking pretty hard about this, whether or not he should probably capitalize on the fact that he almost knows that I'm going to go for recover, or switch out because he really can't do much with his Mammoth Swine at this point. He does decide to stay in, probably going to get his rocks back up, yep. And again, I'm just going to Rapid Spin them away immediately. At this point, I don't think he's going to stay in, because he saw that even with a 5-hit, he doesn't beat me 1v1. And if he gets less than a 5-hit, then I will get a Toxic off on him, and then he's just in trouble. Because then his Mammoth Swine will no longer be able to switch into my Zapdos, because I can revenge kill him with the Hidden Power Grass that we do have. Nope, he's going to stay in again, so probably going for another Icicle Sphere. Maybe going for the superpower, maybe he had it all along and he just wanted to bait not having it. Nope, he's just going to go for Stealth Rock again. Well, I do have more Rapid Spins than Stealth Rocks. I'm pretty sure Rapid Spin has more PP than Stealth Rock. But either way, I'm getting damage as well, and he's not doing any damage to me. So I have the freedom to continue to Rapid Spin. I would Toxic him and then start Rapid Spinning, but that would actually allow him to get the Stealth Rocks up. Unless I killed him, unless I knocked him out with Rapid Spin, he would actually basically be able to get Suicide Rocks up. And I mean, it would be at the cost of his Mammoth Swine, which would be like the worst thing in the world, but I think I prefer preventing rocks to getting rid of Mammoth Swine. So goes for the Icicle Spear again, decides that going for Stealth Rocks is a losing battle. And he gets a triple hit. One of them was a crit, although that doesn't matter too much here. And I'm just going to recover again. Make sure to keep myself healthy. He goes for the Icicle Spear again. And he's going to get another triple hit. And here I am finally going to launch off the Toxic, because once it gets a 5-hit, it won't be able to knock me out. And what this will do is it will put him within range of my Zapdos after a couple turns. So hopefully he doesn't get a 5-hit. We are banking a little bit on getting lucky ourselves. He does get a 4-hit, and it actually is able to knock me out. Alright, So he does get the amount of hits he needs to knock me out, which means he can possibly get up and keep up his stealth rocks at this point. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go into Zapdos here. It either forces him to attack or he gets his stealth rocks up and loses his Mamoswine. I don't know if he's going to predict the hidden power grass and switch. That would be a fine play on his part, but it's still the play I'm going to go for. I'm hoping he actually doesn't set up stealth rocks because that would hinder the ability for me to get my Gyarados in safely. So we get the hidden power off. Boom. And it does around 50%. And he does just attack, so if he actually doesn't get like 4 hits here, we might be able to live the Ice Shard as well. But he does get another 4 hits, so he's getting some max hits with these Icicle Spears, but that's okay because at this point his Mamoswine is pretty much gone, and it would actually be a little more ideal for me if he knocks out all my Pokemon, because then he can no longer roar my Gyarados, and then he's going to be in a pickle. I actually think he's just going to attack here. I would actually soft-boiled, but actually I should have soft-boiled there. That was a bit of a misplay on my part. He actually gets a 2-hit there, so that's pretty lucky for me, because now I actually have the health to live any hit from Yanmega, which means he can't go into that right here. And he also doesn't get his Stealth Rocks up, which is fantastic for my Gyarados. He could go into his Yanmega here if he wants to, but a Moonblast at... because he'll be at 50% because my rocks are still up. And at 50% he will go down to the Moonblast unless he's like Assault Vest, but I don't expect him to be. I guess it could be bad actually if he's Choice Specs Tinted Lens though. That's not something I considered. But he just goes into his Suicune. Oh, I mean, not Suicune. Into his Porygon 2. So he's going to trace the Magic Guard, that's fine. I'm going to Moonblast. And then I'm going to recover. Or soft-boiled, rather. He's going to recover himself, that is fine. Do I actually need to soft-boiled here, though? Because unless he attacks me, I'm healthy enough to live a hit from Life Orb. Yanmega. He's gonna go for the Thunderbolt. Can't paralyze me because I am poisoned. I actually think I can click Moonblast here until he gets a special attack drop. Because this will prevent him from switching into his Yanmega. I think he's for sure going to recover here. I'm just going to go for the Moonblast again. It is a speed tie. It makes sense. We're both base 60 speed, so he's probably not earning any speed investment either. And we do get the special attack drop right there. So here I'm actually going to go for the soft-boiled. And he's going to withdraw into his Suicune. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to knock off this first turn, because getting rid of this leftovers will actually help if I can't end up getting a Dragon Dance off. He just goes for the Scald, that's fine. This won't do too much unless he has a good amount of special attack investment, but doesn't look like he does. And we're going to be able to get rid of this thing's leftovers and therefore get rid of its recovery. And we're going to soft boiled right here. Goes for another Scald, that is fine. Oh, I guess I forgot to mention, if you're wondering why I'm actually running soft boiled on my Clefable instead of, if you're wondering why my Clefable has soft boiled even though I didn't have one, I need to give a big shout out to my friend Mondays for helping me out with getting this Pokemon. He's been a big help to me throughout weeks when I needed a Pokemon that I didn't have. He's been able to get it for me. So big shout out to him. Helped me a ton throughout this. He goes for the Scald again, gets a critical hit. I really just expect him to go hard into Yanmega here. I really just want to go for the Waterfall. He might go for the Roar, in which case I really want to rest. But I can recover this later on stuff that I'm faster than. So yeah, he does. It does look like he does just stay in and go for the Roar. Maybe the Toxic. Oh, we flinch him. That's a little lucky on my part. But basically here, I can't let him get a free switch into Yanmega if it is Tinted Lens. That would be really bad. I get another flinch, so that's again really unfortunate for my opponent, especially because he's not going to be able to recover this damage off. Looks like that might have been a critical hit, yeah. And another flinch. I'm not going to do this anymore. At this point, he probably thinks I'm going to spam. Oh no, I clicked Sleep Talk. That would have been really bad if he didn't go for Scald. It doesn't really matter. But I am going to rest here in order to make sure my Gyarados is healthy to sweep later on. So. It's just going to go for another Scald, that's fine. Not going to do too much damage because of our bulk. And I'm actually going to double out into my Clefable because I think he might double out into my his Yanmega because he kind of, at this point, I think his best shot is banking on me, my Sleep Talk pulls. And he actually goes into his Porygon 2. Okay, that's fine as well. He's going to trace my Magic Guard, which is a little unfortunate because that means I can't, like, you know, what was I gonna say? I can't like Leech Seed it for some extra damage, but yeah, basically here I can do what I was doing last time and just Moonblast until I get a special attack drop. He actually is put within range where if I get the Moonblast off first next turn, he's going to lose his Porygon 2. He does win the speed tie, so a little bit of luck on his part right there, but it's not too big of a deal because, again, if we get the special attack drop on this thing, it's going to be Okize, right? And that's just one of the added benefits of Moonblast. Going to go for recover again. So we're stalling out his recovers. He is stalling out our Moonblast, which is kind of a problem. Because if we run out of Moonblast, then he will get the free switch in to Yanmega on this thing, and that's bad. We get the special attack drop, so at this point I'm not going to stay in. Probably. I mean, he's probably going to Thunderbolt here, right? It's tough. It's really tough. I've used 8 Moonblasts. I'm going to Moonblast here, just in case he does double out. He doesn't. We actually get another special attack drop. And he goes for the Thunderbolt, that's fine. After that special attack drop, though, I'm going to heal pretty much all of that back with Leftovers Recovery. And here, I'm almost certain he's going to go for the Recover, because if he does double out, then he can't really switch back into my Clefable. So I'm actually going to double out into my Tangela, and then double back into my Clefable. That is the plan, anyway. He does recover, okay. I could actually also go for the Sleep Powder here, but that's not necessary. And if I miss and he does go into his Yanmega, that's really, really bad. So I am going to double back out into my Clefable here. It is the safest play. I don't want to risk any sort of miss. Plus we will get the Regenerator on our Tangela, which will allow us to switch into stuff like Suicune better as well. If it's Speed Boost Yanmega, then as long as my Clefable is relatively healthy, we're okay. But the fear is that he is Tinted Lens, which would be bad if my Clefable gets too unhealthy. I mean, Clefable should be able to live any one hit, right? From that range. It would just mean that I'd have to sack, which is like something that I guess I'm okay with. As long as my Tangela is alive, I have that sack. I can't sack Gyarados because that is my win con. And here we are just going to go for the Sleep Powder. Having Magic Guard does not make you immune to that, so... And we are going to connect it. He has seen knockoff on my Tangela, so he might not switch out, but I actually am going to go for knockoff here. And the reason for that is because if he does go into his Yanmega, it won't do very much damage. But if it is choice specs and we get to knock off his choice specs, then that is very, very good for us. So he's going to stay in here. That is fine. That is okay. Going to knock off, obviously not going to do very much damage. He is going to stay asleep. We're going to Giga Drain here. Hopefully he doesn't switch out this turn. Yep, he does stay in, so we are going to be able to get that off the Giga Drain. This will do a decent chunk, because he's not Eviolite. Tangela actually has a decent special attack stat, so yeah, that did like 20%. I'm going to Giga Drain one more time. And he actually pulls the 3-turn sleep. So that's really, really unfortunate for him, because it's going to allow me to chip him to the point where he probably has to recover this next turn. And therefore I can actually launch off another Sleep Powder. I mean, the fear is here. If he does switch out and I go for Sleep Powder, that's technically breaking Sleep Clause. There's no auto Sleep Clause on the 3DS. But I just can't see him switching out, so I'm gonna go for the Sleep Powder. Cause he's too low, right? He goes for the Ice Beam. Okay. That's a bit surprising, given the fact that he is at -2, and we're going to be able to put him back to sleep, and since he hasn't burned a sleep turn, And here we are actually going to go right into our Mega Gyarados. And since we switched out first, it does mean that he is indeed not switching out. I believe we have burned 1 turn of sleep. So we should go for Sleep Talk, and then we should actually attack. He is going to withdraw probably into Yanmega. Nope, he actually goes right into his Suicune. We get the Sleep Talk off. And we pull Rest. That's fine. I am going to Dragon Dance here. He's probably going to Roar. Oh, okay, so I didn't actually burn a turn of sleep, so that's my bad for not paying attention. Actually, it's going to go for the Scald there. That's fine. Should have Sleep Talked right there. If I pulled Dragon Dance, then I would have been in a fine position. But, you know, it saves a PP, I guess. So we are going to wake up and go for the Dragon Dance. He's probably going to go for the Roar here. He's probably paying more attention to my sleep turns, yeah, than I am, so. But that's fine because both Clefable and Tangela are fine switches to this thing, as they have the bulk to eat up hits that these things might want to launch off. And here I can just go for the Moonblast. He's going to go for the Scald. Maybe we shouldn't have gone for Moonblast there. Maybe I should have doubled. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, I was going to say, maybe we should have doubled because if this knocks him out, then he could actually, he might put me within range of a Specs Tinted Lead Bug Buzz. And we're going to recover back up to full, and we are actually going to go right back into our Tangela. He could double out himself here, but yeah, I didn't think he would, because at this point he'll die to his Stealth Rock switch in. Yeah, I'm just going to knock him out with the Giga Drain. Actually, hold on. I'm going to go for the Leech Seed. It'll give me a little bit of extra recovery if he does switch out. He does reveal that his last move is the Ice Beam, so this is going to do a chunk, but not too much. And basically, if he did decide to, for some reason, double into the Yanmega right there, we would be able to Leech Seed it and get the chip off. So we are going to lose our Tangela, but that's not the worst thing in the world. Because he's almost certainly going into Yanmega here. I can't see a reason to go into anything else. He actually does go into his Porygon 2. Okay. It's burned 1 sleep turn. He actually traces the Regenerator, which is fine. I'm actually going to stay in and go for the Giga Drain. Actually, I should have Leech Seeded. But basically, I'm okay with sacking this thing. And if he does get another turn of sleep, he's actually going to go down. Ice Beam probably actually knocks me out from this point. Alright, I'll double into Thin. Because I want to be healthy enough to get the Leech Seed off, if that's what it comes down to. He does wake up, goes for the Ice Beam, obviously won't do too much. Can't freeze me because I am poisoned. How much PP do we have left on Moonblast? We have 13. If we win the speed tie here, he's going to actually lose his Porygon 2. But that's fine. He does win the speed tie. He is going to get off the recover. But again, with the amazing power of Moonblast, we always have that chance to special attack drop. He's probably going to recover here again, yeah. But as soon as I get a special attack drop, I think I'm going to go back into my what is it? Tangela. See if I can get the leech seed off. Our Tangela is at 114 right now. Okay. Get another Moonblast off. Remember, we can't lose all our Moonblast. That would actually lose us the game, because then he can really just win with his Yen Mega, whether it's speed boost or tinted lens. And there we go. There's the special attack drop. So here I'm not making any risks. I'm going to soft boiled. He actually wins the speed tie, which is a little better for me, because that means I get to heal back up to full rather than taking that little bit of chip. And right into the Tangela right here. If he doubles, that's really scary, because we're going to lose our Tangela. If he doubles into Yen Mega, that is. But if he just goes for the Ice Beam, we should be able to eat it up pretty decently. He actually goes for the Thunder Wave, so expecting me to switch into my Gyarados right there. And here we are going to attempt to go for the Leech Seed. He could crit the Ice Beam, which might knock me out. We're just gonna have to hope that doesn't happen. Okay, he doesn't crit me. Actually eat that up really, really well. And we do land the Leech Seed as well, so. He does still have the Regenerator ability that he traced from me, so he could actually just switch out and heal up his Porygon 2 a little bit. He also has that Muck in the back. I'm going to Sleep Powder here because I know another Ice Beam won't knock me out if that's what he wants to go for. Put him to sleep. No critical hit. We do land the Sleep Powder again as well, so that's pretty lucky. We've landed 3 for 3 Sleep Powders. We're actually almost out of match time. The match is coming down with only less than 5 minutes. Holy crap, I didn't realize it's been so long. And at this point, I win. If he doesn't start picking up KOs. So he might have to double here, but he didn't double there because he's faster than me and he did switch out. Yep, and we're going to heal back up. Oh, this is intense. I am going to Dragon Dance right here. And hope he doesn't wake up. Because if he doesn't, then I think I might be able to win before the match ends via match time. Oh, it's such a close game. And he does stay asleep for another turn, so as long as he is not like if he's not speed boost. Actually, no, because he'll for sure go for the if he wakes up, he'll for sure go for the Thunder Wave here. So I definitely want to get rid of this thing. We pick up a knockout, so we're up 3-2. Sorry about that if there was a little edit with my recording, glitch with my recording software. Here I do outspeed him unless he's Choice Scarf. So I can go for the Waterfall here because I am at +1 if he protects. With the speed boost, then I know he's speed boost, and I can actually switch into my Clefable because I know his Bug Buzz won't be doing as much. and he doesn't actually protect. So he either not protect or not. He either doesn't have the protect or he just decided not to go for it. Maybe predicting me to predict protect, go for a Dragon Dance. But I'm going to be able to knock that out. The last Pokemon is Muck. We're going to be able to Waterfall it, and that should be a good game. I think we did it, guys. I think we managed to pull off the victory for the finals of the PDL. Yep, we're going to launch off the Waterfall as long as, well, we knocked off his Assault Vest. We know it's not Focus Band, and that's going to be a good game. Such a close one. Not only in the actual game, but the timer too, right down to only a minute and 30 seconds left. Super crazy, but such a good game. GG to my opponent. And thank you guys so much for watching. We actually managed, I don't even know how, but we managed to become the PDL Season 1 champions. And that, oh my gosh, it feels really good, man. Obviously, we did get a bit lucky, like we pulled Waterfall with the Sleep Talk we needed to. We got 3 turn sleeps on Porygon 2, which helped a lot. And of course, freezing that Muck early on forced him to play it differently than he could have. But yes, still such a good game, and I'm glad it came down to the wire. It was right down to the wire. Yeah, that should be it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for the support. I've seen some of your comments on the previous videos. Well, I haven't been able to respond to all of them. I have read them all, and it really means a lot to me that you guys enjoyed this, and I'm so glad that I got to make this final battle hopefully worth your while. I hope you found it as entertaining to watch as I found it to play. So, yeah, that's it for Season 1 of the PDL. I might be able to do Season 2. That's still up to debate about when that happens and what's going on when that happens. But hopefully I will be able to get you more tournament content in the future, depending on what tournaments I end up participating in. And let me think. Is there anything else I have to say? No, except for the fact that Battle Spot Lives should be coming back to the channel now that we are finally done with the PDL. I have time to record other things besides these PDL battles. Alright, yeah, again, thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye for now.